All right, guys, thank you very much for joining me this evening for the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Really apologies for keeping you waiting there. I just had a meeting, just a big heads up, like I said before. I'm starting this brand new advertising campaign with a whiskey company. So yes, very, very interesting to see what goes on. Sorry for keeping you waiting, guys, on YouTube. I know everyone on Facebook, we're live, and we're also live on Twitch as well. So yes, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Anyway, let's get off with the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Let's get going. QR code should be up on the side of the wall there. There it is. If you don't have it, by all means, scan the QR code with your phone. That'll open up the answer sheet, and you can play tonight's Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Let's get kicked off, guys. Let's get kicked off. First round tonight, as always, it's general knowledge. Yes, general knowledge quiz, as always, basic, very, very down-to-earth sort of stuff. Let's see if you've been paying attention to the news which has been happening over the last week. Let's see what's been going on and test your knowledge on that. So here we go. Our first question tonight. Big Nerd Pub Quiz, 11th of May, 2011. Here it is. So, round one, question one. Which Dutch city is set to host this year's postponed Eurovision Song Contest? So it's round one, question one. Postponed from last year. The Dutch won it last year. And obviously it's been pushed back to this year. And it's been held in... Yes, it's been held in Holland. But which city? Which Dutch city is set to host this year's postponed Eurovision Song Contest? It's round one, question one. Next up, round one, question two. Which country's space rocket burned up in the atmosphere after failing to reach orbit this week? That's round one, question two. People were checking out online the orbit trajectory of this thing, hoping it wasn't going to fall on their houses. Could have fallen in, could have hit New York, could have hit in Europe. It did burn up over the Indian Ocean. Scary stuff, that. But which country's space rocket burned up in the atmosphere after failing to reach orbit this week? That's round one, question number two. Round one, question two. Always a space question in there. Round one, question three. Bob Marley passed away 40 years ago this week. But true or false, his first UK number one single was No Woman, No Cry. That's your third question tonight. True or false one? So it's round one, question three. Bob Marley passed away 40 years ago this week. True or false? His first UK number one single was No Woman, No Cry. That's your first music one tonight. Next up, skipped on there. Round one, question four. Who's the current leader of the Welsh Labour Party? So round one, question four. Who is the current leader of the Welsh Labour Party? Probably the only success story for the Labour Party this weekend, given the fact they didn't do so well in the Hartlepool election there. But round one, question four. Who's the current leader of the Welsh Labour Party? The Welsh Labour Party. That's round one, question four. Round one, question five. Wayne Rooney, super striker, is the manager of which English football club that survived relegation from the Championship to League One this week? Now, interestingly, that might not be the case given that this club's financial fair play rules might be in question. And if that is the case, they actually might be relegated. After all, after a very nail-biting encounter on the very final day of the Championship. But round one, question five. Wayne Rooney, the manager of which English football club that survived relegation this week? And finally, more politics one. Round one, question six. Which candidate in the London mayoral elections celebrated winning 24,775 votes? Also, part of his election campaign was to bring back CFAX and to change the name of London Bridge to Phoebe Waller. Round 1, question 6. Which candidate in the London mayoral election celebrated winning 24,775 votes? That's round 1, question 6. And there is your roundup there. Which Dutch city is set to host this year's postponed Eurovision Song Contest? 2. Which country's space rocket burned up in the atmosphere after failing to reach orbit this week? 3. Bob Marley passed away 40 years ago. True or false, his first UK #1 single was No Woman, No Cry. 4. Who is the current leader of the Welsh Labour Party? 5. Wayne Rooney is the manager of which English football club? And 6. Which candidate in the London mayoral elections celebrated winning 24,775 votes? Give it a couple of seconds on those before we move on to the next round. All right, next up tonight. So we're going to just fly through these tonight. We've been very, very busy all day. In fact, I will show you the brand that I have. It's the only bottle in Ireland, and that we're marketing this brand new whiskey. So it's very, very exciting. But I will keep you updated about that and the quiz over the next couple of weeks, because it's going to be super, super busy. Anyway, round 2 is, as always, it's a music round. And one of my very favorite genres of music, it's going to be all about jazz. I'm going to give you 6 very famous jazz musicians. All you have to do is tell me what instrument are they most famous for playing. Okay, sound easy. Any jazz aficionados out there, they will give this one a go. So round 2, all about music, all about jazz musicians. All you have to tell me is what instrument they play. So I think a nice easy one. Satchmo himself, Louis Armstrong. It's round 2, question number 1. Louis Armstrong. Round 2, question 1, Louis Armstrong. Let's see how we get on with this. So round 2, question 1, Louis Armstrong is famous for playing which instrument? I think that's a nice easy one to start off with. Next up, John Coltrane. Round 2, question 2. John Coltrane, famous for playing what instrument? Great jazz musician, one of my favorites. Round 2, question 2. Round 2, question 2, John Coltrane. Next up, Gene Krupa. Famous musician, famous jazz musician, but what instrument is he noted to have been a master of? It's round 2, question 3, Gene Krupa. Yes, I have noticed there's no name in the answer sheet for teams. Don't worry about that. It's all about the taking part. It's not about who wins. But round 2, question 3. Gene Krupa, famous for playing what instrument? Next up, round 2, question 4. Chet Baker. One of my favorite musicians of all time. Chet Baker. Infamously fell out of a hotel window. Very tragic. It's kind of a James Dean looker in his day. But round 2, question 4, Chet Baker. Next up, round 2, question 5, the Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington. Who is that? Duke Ellington. What does he play? Very, very famous. Very, very famous band leader. But famous for playing what instrument? I know a lot of these guys are multi-instrumentalists, but what are they known for playing? And finally, Kenny Burrell. Kenny Burrell. Kenny Burrell. Famous jazz musician. Famous for playing what instrument? It's round 2, question 6. So there's your roundup of questions there, all about jazz musicians. So Louis Armstrong, John Coltrane, Gene Krupa, Chet Baker, Duke Ellington, and Kenny Burrell. all. What is their instrument that they made famous by playing? It's round 2. So, anyway, yes, round 2 all done and dusted for this evening. Time now is coming just 8:15. It's been very, very flat out busy over the last couple of days with my new business. Like I said, Elk Creative Media, that's us here. And we've kind of done a soft launch. And we're in my office now at the moment here in Warrenpoint, County Down. It just goes to show you what you can do in a year. But we've got a brand new office here set up, and we've got some really cool movie posters and stuff. If I can get a chance to show you. If you can see behind me there, the Mars Attacks one. Got that up. That's an original. Over in the corner, as the big Trekkie that I am, I've got a Star Trek Generations one there. And I've got my original Back to the Future Part 2 on the wall as well. And there's our setup. There's a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at our office. You know, it's pretty good. We got our whole band set up over there. We got our whiteboard with all our stuff to do this week. All our instruments and things like that. But yeah, and a dedicated podcast studio, which is going to go in that room with the door open at the moment. So yeah, there you go. A little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at our setup here at Elk Digital Media. So yeah, very, very... apologies if that made you a little bit car sick or a bit nauseous. Anyway, we're moving on to the next round, round 3. Now, last week I did promise that I was going to do this, and I never got around to doing it. But round 3, because it was May the 4th last week, Star Wars. I'd already written this round, an entire round all about Star Wars. Let's test your knowledge. 6 random questions about the franchise, the series, behind the scenes, some kind of canon stuff. Let's see how you get on. So, round 3, question 1. Which famous actor, famous for appearing in the Hammer horror films, starred as Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars Episode 4? So, who played Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars Episode 4? Famous horror actress. Or, sorry, famous horror actor. That's round 3, question 1. Which actor, famous for appearing in Hammer horror films, starred as Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars Episode 4? Next up in round 3, question 2. In the 1977 theatrical edition of Star Wars, who shot first? If you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say about this. I'm going to fire it. I really hate this song from my music library. It's just really creepy. Round 3, question 2. In the 1977 theatrical edition of Star Wars, who shot first? Like I said, if you know, you know. Moving on to round 3, question 3. Who owns this lightsaber? Again, one for super fans only, I think, this one. But have a guess. Who owns that lightsaber? Like I said, I always try to keep this pretty nerdy. It is called the Big Nerd Pub Quiz, after all. Let's see how you get on with that. Round 3, question 3. Who owns that lightsaber pictured? Oh, who could forget this guy? Round 3, question 4. What race of creature is the controversial character Jar Jar Binks? Controversial, yep. Split a lot of opinion down the way. Not a loved character. And really hasn't aged well at all. It's bizarre. So round 3, question 4. What race of creature is the controversial character Jar Jar Binks? Round 3, question 4. Round 3, question 5. Which Star Wars film has the highest box office returns of all time? Now you've got 1 out of 9 to guess from. I didn't put all 9 of them down, but think logically, which one of these would it be? Which Star Wars film has the highest box office returns of all time? There's a logic to it. You have to just kind of think about it. And next up, final one tonight, round 3, question 6. Which actor requested a role on Star Wars after appearing on the chat show TGI Friday in 1998? True story, this actor was in, talking about some new movie that he was in, and said, I would like to be in the new Star Wars. I hear George Lucas is casting. Can I be in it? And yes, lo and behold, he actually did end up in the movie. So round 3, question 6. Which actor am I talking about there? Which actor requested a role on Star Wars after having appeared on TGI Friday in 1998? There's your Star Wars roundup there. So which actor famous for appearing in Hammer horror films starred as Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars Episode 4? Number 2, in the 1977 theatrical edition of Star Wars, who shot first? 3, who owns that lightsaber? 4, what race of creature is the controversial character of Jar Jar Binks? 5, which Star Wars film has the highest box office returns of all time? And 6, which actor requested a role on Star Wars after appearing on TGI Friday, the chat show, in 1998? Okay, well, the camera's just dipped a wee bit there. Anyway, so going from one empire to another, we're moving straight on to our history round next, and it's history and politics, round number 4. And this one's all about final emperors, last emperors, empires of old and of times gone by. 6 questions to test your knowledge on all about that. So yes, bit of a shift and change here, but let's see how you get on with these. So round 4, question 1. Puyi was the last emperor of which Asian country? It's round 4, question number 1. So round 4, question 1. Puyi was the last emperor of which Asian country? That's round 4, question number 1. Next up, round 4, question number 2. The last Tsar, Nicholas II, the last Tsar of Russia, was a member of which dynasty? Or which dynasty was the last Russian Tsar, Nicholas II, a member of? Or what was he head of? It's round 4, question 2. Next up, round 4, question 3. On which island was the French Emperor Napoleon exiled to following his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo, 1815? It's round 4, question 3. So round 4, question 3. On which island was French Emperor Napoleon exiled to following the defeat at the Battle of Waterloo? Now, he wasn't the last French emperor. There was like a Napoleon III, I believe, right up into the Belle Epoque era, but then I think the next French Republic just got rid of them. So, yeah, not fussed on the old kings. Round 4, question 4. Who was the final Sultan of the Ottoman Empire? Round 4, question 4. Who was the final Sultan of the Ottoman Empire? Ceased to exist in 1921, 22, round about then, after World War One. It's round 4, question 4. Next up, Katatomek was the last emperor of which ancient civilization? I can't pronounce the name. I'm just guessing here. Kokatomek, I believe, was the last emperor of which ancient civilization? I think the clue might be in the picture there. And finally, round 4, question 6. How was the last king of Italy, Umberto II, deposed from the throne? So it's round 4, question 6. So Italy did have their run of kings and royal families as well. Italy was really more like a hodgepodge of states, really. Kingdoms, and then it all united in the 1870s. And How is the last king of Italy, Umberto II, deposed from the throne? So there's your roundup there of questions all about emperors. So from the evil empire of Star Wars to some evil empires, really. So yes, Puyi, last emperor of which Asian country? That's round 4, question 1. Question 2, last Russian Tsar Nicholas II was a member of which dynasty? 3, on which island was the French Emperor Napoleon exiled to following the defeat at the Battle of Waterloo? 4, who was the final Sultan of the Ottoman Empire? 5, Kutarchak was the last emperor of which ancient civilization? And 6, how was the last king of Italy deposed from the throne? An interesting one, that. It's a good bit of research done on those. But yes, don't forget, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've just come up to the halfway point of the quiz. Don't forget, use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz and give us a DM if you want to shout it at any point. I know Stephen O'Hara is watching tonight. A big shout out to Daniel Rua, actually, an old friend of mine from school. His partner got in touch with me during the week and said to give us a shout out for his birthday. I'm sorry I didn't do the quiz last week, but I know you guys play every week, and it's really glad to have you here. Thank you very much. If you want a shout out, by all means, do get in touch via all the different social media channels, and I'll try my best to give you a wee bit of a nod. Anyway, next up, we're moving on to our next round this evening, and we're all about sports. And speciality round tonight is all about trophies. I'm going to list you 6 famous sports trophies. All you have to do is tell me what they're awarded for, or what they were awarded for. So here we go, round 5, question 1. This should be an easy one to start off with. The Jules Rimet Trophy. So if you got that, what did you win? That's round 5, question 1. So round 5, question 1, the Jules Rimet Trophy. What would you win if you had won that? That's round 5, question number 1. Round 5, question 2, the Calcutta Cup. So, what is the Calcutta Cup awarded for? It's one of the oldest trophies of its kind for this particular type of competition. Round 5, question 2, the Calcutta Cup. Round 5, question 2, the Calcutta Cup. Next up, round 5, question 3, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Vince Lombardi was a very famous coach. Round 5, question 3, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Round 5, question 4, the Maurice Polidov Trophy. The Maurice Podoloff Trophy. Probably pronouncing that wrong. Maurice Podoloff. There we go. Next up, round 5, question 5, the Stanley Cup. Round 5, question 5, the Stanley Cup. And finally, the Commissioner's Trophy, round 5, question 6. The Commissioner's Trophy. And there's your roundup there of sports trophies. So the Jules Rimet Trophy, the Calcutta Cup, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, the Maurice Podolov Trophy, the Stanley Cup, and the Commissioner's Trophy. Match what you would win if you would win those in your sports career. Maybe you'll be lucky to get it sometime, I don't know. Probably be a bit old in the tooth for all of those, I think. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on Big Nerd Pub Quiz tonight. We've just done round 5. Let's move swiftly on to round number 6. It's been a very long day at work for me today. And round 6 tonight is all about planets and moons. You know I'm a big space geek. Love doing questions all about that sort of thing. But there we go. Round 6, question 1. Let's test your knowledge about all things celestial tonight. Which planet was credited to have been discovered by astronomer William Herschel in 1781? So it's round 6, question 1. Which planet was credited to have been discovered by astronomer William Herschel in 1781? Next up, round 6, question 2. How many moons does the planet Mars have? How many moons does the planet Mars have? Next up, round 6, question 3. Which planet is similar in size to Earth? So yes, in the solar system, which planet is similar in size to Earth? There's only one. Round 6, question 3. Which planet is similar in size to Earth? Next up, round 6, question 4. What is the name of the largest moon in the solar system? Was the largest moon in the solar system. Round 6, question 5. Titan, Rhea, and Dione are moons of which gas giant? Now, a couple of the bigger gas giants have like multiple moons, like, you know, over 24 of them. This particular one, Titan, Rhea, and Dione are moons of which gas giant? That's round 6, question 5. Next up, and final one. How many people have walked on the moon's surface? That's round 6. Question 6. So how many men have walked on the moon? We all know Neil Armstrong was the first with Apollo 11. But how many in total? How many men in total have walked on the moon? There's your roundup there. Questions all about the moons and planets. So which planet was credited to have been discovered by astronomer William Herschel in 1781? 2. How many moons does the planet Mars have? 3. Which planet is similar in size to Earth? I'm going to just change the music. It's a little bit rubbish as well. It's just my free music library. A little bit better. 4. What is the name of the largest moon in the solar system? 5. Titan, Rhea, and Dione are moons of which gas giant? And finally, number 6. How many people have walked on the moon? Give you a couple of seconds on those before we move on. Okay, we are now up to our penultimate round this evening. Getting through these pretty fast tonight. I guess it's been a very, very long day for me today, and like now that I'm actually got my own company and my own business, I'm starting to debate whether or not I'm going to keep doing the quizzes on a weekly basis at all, because I'm just flat out. But in saying that, though, Big Nerd Pub Quiz isn't going anywhere. I'm going to keep it alive as long as I can, but we are coming out of lockdown, bear in mind, and we're getting into that point now. In Northern Ireland, the pubs are open, and sporting events are going to come back, and normal life will return, and hopefully, like, I've got my vaccine and everything last week, so I'm all jabbed up. But yes, I'm trying to do the quizzes as often as I can, but like I said, I'll let you know on the site. Like, it's been very, very flat out with meetings with these new companies and trying to get our brand off the ground and everything like that. But if you're watching, if you're looking at any social media work done or content creation, by all means, give me a shout, and I'll see what I can do for you. As you can see, all these fantastic graphics that I can do myself, but I've got an entire team here based in my studio in Warm Point. But yes, do let us know. Anyway, moving on to the penultimate round tonight, the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Arts and literature, and it's all about Shakespeare. Let's see how you get on with this. Always very fun, these questions, all about the bard himself. So here we go. Round 7, question number 1. Where was William Shakespeare born? Nice easy one to start you off with. That's a beautiful little place. So round 7, question 1. Where was William Shakespeare born? Next up, round 7, question 2. The 2006 romantic comedy She's the Man is based on what Shakespeare play? It's round 7, question 2. So round 7, question 2. The 2006 romantic comedy She's the Man is based on what Shakespeare played? Round 7, question 3. What is the name of Shakespeare's wife? Apparently married when he was 18 and she was 26. But round 7, question 3. What was the name of Shakespeare's wife? It's round 7, question number 3. Next up, round 7, question 4. Which of Shakespeare's plays is also the shortest? Or which of Shakespeare's plays is the shortest of his works? Which of Shakespeare's plays is the shortest in length? And round 7, question 5. Which of Shakespeare's plays is the longest in length? It's round 7, question 5. Which of Shakespeare's plays is the longest? And final question, all about Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players, is a quote from which Shakespeare's plays? One of the most famous quotes attributed to the bard himself. But round 7, question 6. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players, is a quote from which Shakespeare play? And there is your roundup. Questions all about the bard. So where was Shakespeare born? 2. The 2006 romantic comedy She's the Man is based on which Shakespeare play? 3. What was the name of Shakespeare's wife? 4. Which of Shakespeare's plays is the shortest? 5. Which of Shakespeare's plays is the longest? And finally, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players, is a quote from which Shakespeare play? We are firing through these questions tonight. And here comes the final one this evening. Hope you've all enjoyed it. I know it's been a bit of a quick one, but it's been crazy week for myself. You can always pause the quiz and go back if you need to. But the final round is a picture round, as we always try to do with the quiz. And you know what? Hopefully, I should just think it off the top of my head. Hopefully, I might actually try to sell this concept to pubs. Actually get out there and do this live. So see how we get on. But anyway, round 8. Bird logos. Yep, I'm going to show you. It's another logo round. And birds are a common motif on many of the logos and sports emblem out there. But I'm going to show you 6 bird logos. All you have to do is match them to the company. Now, sound easy? Let's see how you get on with this. Round 8. Question number 1. Nice, easy one. Pretty obvious if you know it. It'll probably rotate up on the screen there. I'll give you that one for free. Round 8, question 1. This little bird is responsible for what? He's the logo of which company? Round 8, question number 1. Round 8, question number 1. Let's move on. Round 8, question number 2. Got a little bit of an owl motif on this. Which logo is this? Which one am I talking about here? It's right, a question 2. It's almost the same color as the BigNerdPubQuiz thing there. Same kind of thing. Right, 8, question 3. Collection of birds here. Bird in a nest. What logo or brand is that? So round 8, question 3. These birds are which logo? Let that sink in for a bit. Coming up to the next one. Round 8, question 4. Which logo is this? Round 8, question 4. Round 8, question 4. Here's our penultimate one for the evening, guys. Round 8, question 5. Don't forget, once you hit submit on your answer sheet, you will get your answers. And you get the results, but do stick about for the answers straight after this. Round 8, question 5. And final question of the night. Round 8, question 6. Famous peacock logo. The emblem of which company? It's round 8, question 6. Just go through those one more time there. So round 8, question 1. Question 2. Question 3. Question 4. Question 5. And finally, question 6 there. Maybe question 6. There's question 6. There we are. Don't know why I pulled that all the way down. Anyway, that's it for Big Nerd Pub Quiz tonight. Hit submit, you'll get your scores at the very end. But here are tonight's answers. Before we do that, a couple of wee house announcements, like I said. Very busy at the moment. Got my new company up on the go. And but yes, Gonna try and keep on doing Big Nerd Pub Quiz for another wee while, but we'll see. I'll put it out there on the social media channels whether or not to keep doing them, because we are coming out of lockdown. I'm getting far busier, and it's like it does take up a big chunk of my day to write and produce this quiz. So I do appreciate the Patreon donations and stuff like that. If you guys are looking for a virtual quiz host at any point, by all means, you can hire Big Nerd Pub Quiz for private events. Give us an email, bignerdpubquiz@gmail.com, and I'll see what I can do for you. It's a perfect activity for social distancing, fully customizable, and it's very affordable and easy to set up. And like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and on all the different social media channels there as well. Okay, everybody, let's do it. Let's see how you got on this evening. Here are tonight's answers for the questions. So here we go, round one. So yes, the city which set to host this year's Eurovision Song Contest is going to be Rotterdam. China's space rocket, part of her attempt to build a space station, broke up in orbit this week. Bob Marley, first UK #1 single was No Woman No Cry. It's actually false, given the fact he never actually had a #1 single in the UK. Playing #1 albums, but never a #1 single. Pretty amazing. Mark Drakeford is the current leader of the Welsh Labour Party. Wayne Rooney is manager of Derby County. And Count Binface is the guy who got 775 votes. Those instruments. So Louis Armstrong, famous for playing the trumpet. John Coltrane, saxophone. Gene Krupa, drums. Chet Baker, trumpet. Duke Ellington, piano. And Kenny Burrell, guitar. Next up, Star Wars question. So Peter Cushing played Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. Han Solo shot first in the original Star Wars film in 1977. Obi-Wan Kenobi owned that lightsaber. Jar Jar Binks is a Gungan. The Force Awakens 2015 is the biggest box office return for any Star Wars movie. And Samuel L. Jackson asked for his role on Star Wars on TGI Friday with Chris Evans. Those questions all about last emperors. So Puyi was the last emperor of China. Tsar Nicholas II was a member of the Romanov dynasty. St. Helena is where Napoleon was exiled to. Mehmed VI was the last emperor of the Ottoman Empire. Cuauhtémoc was the last emperor of the Aztec civilization. And Umberto II was deposed by a referendum by the Italian people who basically said, nah, we don't fancy kings. So there you go. Round 5, sports trophies. So yes, if you won the Jules Rimet trophy, you would have won the original FIFA World Cup. The Calcutta Cup is played between Scotland and England in rugby union. You win the Vince Lombardi trophy for the NFL Super Bowl. You get the Maurice Podoloff trophy for being the MVP in the NBA. The Stanley Cup is, of course, for NHL Ice Hockey Championship and baseball. And the World Series is if you win the baseball there. Planets and moons. Uranus is the planet discovered by William Herschel in 1781. Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos. The planet similar size to Earth is Venus. Ganymede is the largest planet and moon in the solar system. Saturn is where Titan, Rhea, and Dione are, and 12 people have walked on the moon. Question is all about Shakespeare. Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon. Twelfth Night is She's the Man. Shakespeare's wife was Anne Hathaway. No, not the actress. Comedy of Errors is Shakespeare's shortest play, and goes without saying, Hamlet is his longest. And finally, All the World's a Stage, and All the Men That Merely Players is from As You Like It. And finally, all about those bird logos. So we had Twitter, TripAdvisor, Nestle, Armani, Dove, and NBC. So those are those ones again. So Twitter, TripAdvisor. I actually would have went for Hootsuite for that, but it's TripAdvisor, Nestle, Armani, Dove, and NBC. That's about it for tonight's Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Thank you very much for joining me. Like I said, it's always a pleasure to have you here playing the quiz wherever you are. Hope you're all well, whatever you're doing. And yes, do stay in touch with me. Like I said, I'm going to be putting some serious consideration, having been done the quiz for over a year now. And we'll see what we can do. Maybe make them monthly, maybe do some specials, start doing specials once as a weekly one. But do let me know. Do get in touch with me via all the different social media channels. Hope you're all well. And like I said, apologies for pushing the quiz from Monday to Tuesday. Like I said, I had a client meeting there. Just before we go, actually, I'm just going to show you. This is the bottle. This is the whiskey brand that we're going to be doing the social media for. So, yes, a bit of free publicity for these guys. It's not available in Ireland yet. It's going to be sold internationally. And we're going to be doing the social media campaign for it for the next month anyway to see how it goes. But anyway, Baja Whiskey, this is it. It's the only bottle in Ireland. And I'm not even allowed to open it. So, yes, big exciting things ahead for Elk Media. But if you're looking at any social media done, by all means, give us a shout because we're quite affordable. And, yes, we need more clients. Anyway, thank you so much again for joining me. Big Nerd Pub Quiz. We'll be back next week. We'll do one more next week. Next Monday, 17th of May, 2021. If I can. I'll let you know if anything changes. But thank you very much again. Have a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. And see you all again here soon. Good night.